Good morning, class. Now, the next topic of this first chapter is the nature of management. So, first of all, we will discuss the nature of the management as a science. As a science, we know it is a systematic body, or maybe whatever the conclusion comes out in the science, we get it from the observation or from the experimentation. So, how this feature is available in management? First of all, systematized body of a knowledge. Yeah, as a science, management is also a systematic body of the knowledge, because whatever the principles are set in the management, that is also done by the practices over the period of a time. That means these principles are applied on the current situations or according to the situation, and after so many observation, then only the principles can be set. Now, the second principle is principle based on experimentation. Yeah, in the science, you can apply the principles again and again, and whenever you will apply the same principle, so after the repeated observation and experimentation, you will get the same result. But this feature is not 100% available in the management. Reason behind, because management deals with the human being, and if you will do the repeated observation and experimentation over the human beings, you will not get the same conclusion, because human behavior cannot be predicted properly. Third one is the universal validity. Yeah, whatever the science principles are there, they have a universal validity. That means as usual they can be accepted. But this feature is also not 100% available in the management, because we cannot use these principles same like a physics or chemistry. It can be modified according to the situation, because in India the situation is different and in the developed countries the situation is different. So we cannot apply the same principles of the management in different areas. Now, next one is your cause and effect relationship. Yeah, principle of science that exactly show you the relationship between the cause and the effect. That means, example, when water is heated up to 100 degrees Celsius, it starts boiling and turns into vapor. So this is the cause and the effect relationship, but this thing is also not at all fully applied in the management. We cannot say that whatever the principles we are applying on the human beings, they will react it in the same way. Maybe it will create the confusion, maybe it will create the contradictions among the management, or maybe among the laborers. So cause and effect relationship, we cannot say that it will be 100% apply in the management. Now, the next nature of the management is management as an art. Art, actually, it refers to the skillful and the personal application of a systematic knowledge to bring desired results. That means in the art, we simply use our knowledge in a different way to get the desired results. So similarly, how this feature is available in the management? First of all, existence of the theoretical knowledge. Yeah, we know that in the arts is totally based upon the theoretical knowledge related with the concepts or the principles. So this feature is exactly available in the management, because management also deals with the theoretical principles or the techniques. Next one is the personalized application. Personalized application, that means whatever the principles are set in the arts, that is the theoretical knowledge, and we have to apply these theoretical knowledge according to the situation. So the same thing is available in management also. Whatever the principles we read in the second chapter, like Henry Fayol principles, that principles are written in the theoretical way, but we have to apply it according to the situation. Just like two dancers, two actors, two writers, they always differ in demonstrating their art. So in the same way, in management also we have to use the principles according to the different way. Now, the next one is the based on the practice and the creativity. Yeah, whatever the applications or the principles are there in the arts is totally depend upon how creatively you can apply those principles according to the situation. And when you repeat those theoretical knowledge again and again, you will get the improvisation. That means आप drawing करते हो या art में कुछ भी है, if you will repeat your things again and again, you will get the perfection. Similarly, this feature is also applicable in management. When the manager applies these managerial skills again and again, it improves its efficiency and it gives the desired results to the management. Now, the next one, management as a profession. As a profession, first of all, read management profession refers to an occupation backed by specialized knowledge and training in which entry is restricted. That means in profession, person should have a particular knowledge about that particular field, so it restricted the entry of the other people. So how this feature is available in the management? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वेल डिफाइंड बॉडी ऑफ अ नॉलेज. ठीक है, दैट मीन्स एवरी प्रोफेशन हैज अ सिस्टमेटाइज्ड बॉडी ऑफ अ नॉलेज विच कैन बी लर्न थ्रू द इंस्ट्रक्शंस. ऑब्वियसली आप चाहे कोई भी प्रोफेशन हो, दो इट इज़ लॉयर, डॉक्टर, एनीथिंग, according to the profession, person read the knowledge, they get the knowledge from the different books. The same thing is available in the management also. In management, this is also a systematic body of a knowledge which is consist of a concepts, principles, theories, so many things, and which this knowledge we get it from the different institutions and by reading the number of books. Second one is the restricted entry. Restricted entry, that means profession restricts the entry of the person on the basis of their examination or the education. Just like no one can enter in, no one can become a doctor or a lawyer. It requires a proper knowledge or the skills to become a doctor or a lawyer. Similarly, this feature is not 100% available in the management because this feature is open for everyone. We can, whosoever who wants to learn the skills of the management, they can enter in the management. So there is not a restriction same like a doctor or the lawyer. Third one is the professional association. That means whatever the professions are there in our country, they all have a affiliation from a professional association. Just like अगर lawyer है या doctor है, they have to be the part of a particular association and they will get the certificate from their association. So this feature is not applicable in management because it is not compulsory that the person should be related with particular management association. One association is there in our country, AIMA, but this association also does not enjoy the legal membership or the legal status. So it is not must that manager should be the part of a professional association. Now next one is the ethical code of the conduct. Yeah, in every profession there is a proper code of the conduct which they have to follow seriously. This feature is also not at all or maybe 100% is not applicable in the management. Because in the previous point I said that there is no particular association, management association is there in our country, and if one association is there, that is AIMA, this association also does not get the proper legal support. So there is no exactly ethical codes for the managers for the management. Now the service motive. The basic motive of the profession is to serve the clients with the dedication. Just like doctor, lawyer, they are serving their clients according to their profession. So this feature is also not 100% applicable in the management because it aims to accomplish organizational goal, which is generally profit maximization. That means they don't think about the society or something. They simply think about their main motive, and their main motive is related with the profit maximization. Now your next topic is levels of management. So here you can see in this diagram there are three levels of the management. First one is the top level, then middle level, and the operational level. In the top level, board of directors are there, chairmen, presidents, those who set their targets or the goals. Second one is the middle level management. Whatever the targets and the goals which is set by the top level management, this is given to the middle level management, and these targets can be fulfilled by the purchase manager, production manager, finance manager. So many types of the managers are there, and whatever the duties, how this target will be fulfilled, that duties is decentralized by the middle level management, and after decentralizing, the duties will be performed by the operational level management. Exactly work is done by the operational level management. They are also taking the help of the workers, and they are supervised by the middle level management, and the reports is given by the middle level management to the top level management. Now let's start the main functions of the top level management. The first function of the top level management is determine the objectives for the organization. That means this is the top level management who set the goals and the strategies for the organization or for the institutions. Second one, framing of plans and the policy. That means whatever the goals and the strategies are set by the top level management, now they have to make plans and the policies that how these goals and strategies can be achieved. After that, coordinate and control the performance. That means so many different departments are there. So this top level management, they coordinate the activities with the different type of the departments, just like production, accounting, finance, so many departments are there. They check the coordination among the different departments. Fourth one, analyze the business environment. That business environment, that means the outside, the external environment, that how the business firm or the organization will survive in the external environment, how it will compete with the foreign companies or with the internal competition, how they are going to face. Fifth one, setting up an organizational framework. That means to top level determines the organizational structure to execute plans and the policies. That means this set the plans and the policies, that how the internal organization can fulfill the target and how, what type of the planning or policies should be made to achieve the target. Sixth one, assemble the resources, because the goals and the targets are set by the top level management. So how to get the resources to fulfill the target, that assembling or the arrangement of the resources also done by the top level management to achieve the desired goals.